This is a very special energy forecast, and this is not going to be just for the month of January, but what the Akashic Records have shown me, that the themes that we explore in today's energetic forecast are going to be big themes that show up for 2025. So if you are on your path, if you are beginning to open and awaken, open to growth, open to healing, open to your gifts, open to your deeper purpose, open to your connection with your soul, this video is going to be for you. Allow it to support you not just this month, but for this entire year. Let's get started. One of the first and biggest themes that we're going to be feeling this year, and especially that's going to start this month, which you may have already been starting to feel, is collapsing of the old, restructuring of the new. And what do they mean by this? On an individual level, so many of us are beginning to open and awaken to our gifts, to our purpose, to our authentic selves, to our deeper light. And what happens in this process is there is a collapsing of the old identities, of the old beliefs, of the old ways we are used to seeing things or being or conditioning and programming. And what begins to restructure is who we authentically are, who we are on a deeper level, our connection to our soul, our connection to our authentic light. And for so many of us, this has actually already started to occur. But what they want to say here is 2025 is going to be a big year where the old is really going to continue to collapse in such a bigger way. And the new, the true, is going to restructure. And it's going to be stronger, and not just individually, but collectively. And one thing that they want to say here is if you have been fighting this will continue to get very uncomfortable, because there's no denying, there's no avoiding that this is what is going to be happening individually and collectively. But if you have been allowing it, if you've been more in flow with the deeper authentic parts of you that are coming to the surface, that are beginning to want to expand and just feeling those pieces within you that are going to want to start to and continue to show up in the ways that they're meant to in your life. If you've been allowing this, if you've been trusting this process, it will really begin to expand in such a higher way, in such a bigger way. And so really allow this process, because the more we fight it, that ego, the way things have been, the identities, the structure, the world of form, the more we fight it, the harder it's going to feel. Theme number 2, moving slow, reflecting, and allowing yourself to settle into newer energy. So what's really interesting is that not just personally, but a lot of people I spoke to, December was a really big month, a really hard month in some ways, that there were a lot of big pieces that came to the surface. And actually that December's patterns and energy and triggers and themes in some ways were actually a culmination of 2024 in such a bigger way. And what the records want you to understand here is, even though we are entering into a new calendar year, we're still in the dead of winter. And we're still, for a lot of us, moving through some of the big stuff that showed up from December. And so there's a really big importance here of allowing yourself to move slow, of allowing yourself to reflect on the pieces that have shown up from 2024, especially in December in such a big way, and let yourself reflect on that. Let yourself be with what's still here at the surface, and that there is no rush just because we're in a new calendar year. They've also really been hitting hard with this piece of, technically, spring does not start until March. And when we are in the dead of winter, there's an invitation here to be with the darkness still as it is here, and really utilize the dark to see what still needs to be looked at, to see what is still in the dark, to see the shadows that are there, and bring our light to what still needs to come to the surface as we are energetically moving out of a dark season. Be with it, reflect on it. There's no rush. Okay, the next theme that came through was a really cool one, and it is all around this piece of timelines, and that there is only one timeline. And what do the records mean by this? This is a really interesting concept because out in the spiritual space, I think there can be a lot of talk around we have many different timelines and we're jumping timelines. But what the records really showed me is that there's actually only one timeline for you. And depending on where you're at on your journey and the karmic energy that still needs to be moved through and cleared, this timeline can feel quite narrow and small and dense, and it will if we're more in our ego. Or our timeline, as we do this work, as we go within ourselves, as we do the healing, and our energy expands and our frequency opens to higher dimensions, our timeline actually becomes more, a more open timeline becomes more available to us. And so rather than it being a more narrow path, the timeline then actually becomes like an 8-lane highway. Think about how wide and expansive that feels. And so rather than seeing the decisions that you make and the things that you do as, oh, will this mean I'm on that timeline? And if I do this, will it then take me to that timeline? Can you shift your perspective to see that there's actually only one timeline that your soul has chosen on this path in this lifetime? And depending on where you're at on your journey, your timeline is either going to feel more narrow based on your awareness and the things you're seeing and the things you're experiencing, or as you do the work, your timeline will begin to feel more expansive because you will begin to see more, you'll begin to experience more, you'll be a wider, more open, energetic embodiment. So think about that. One timeline, you can never get it wrong. The next theme is around ease and grace versus force and pressure. We are moving away from an old system of being, a system that was around force and, a more heightened masculine energy, action, doing. And we are moving into more of an energy that embodies flow and grace and trust and ease. And in order for us to continue to be able to do this, we have to be really aware of our own energy. And what you're going to start to notice this year, and this will be something that starts to show up even in this month, or maybe you've already started to feel it, but it will be more pronounced this year, is when you are doing something from a place when the intention and the energy is from a place of force and pressure, you may still get a result that you want from that, but it's going to feel so much harder and it's going to deplete your energy so much quicker and at a greater capacity. Versus when you have an intention and an energy of grace, ease, flow, trust, not only will you still get that result, but you will get it so much quicker and it will give you energy rather than deplete it and take it away. So really being discerning of your energy, discerning of your intention, noticing any expectations or stories and the ego showing up of when you should be doing something or how it should be, and noticing if there's force and there's pressure there, and being able to back up a little bit and just checking in with your energy. Are you trusting? Are you allowing ease? Are you allowing flow? And this is really going to allow you to ride that flow and that river in such a greater way. And the records brought up this really cool piece around reciprocal relationship with the universe. When we are in a place of trust and flow and surrender in a way, because we're still in control in some ways, we're focusing on our own actions, our own energy. When we are in this energy, we can then work with the universe in a very reciprocal way. And it is in this reciprocity that we then receive things in such an easier way and a greater way, because there's less blocking, there's less force, there's less pressure, there's less contraction, and there's more allowing and receiving. And this is going to be a big theme that shows up in this year, and you'll really start to see it if you haven't already in this month. Okay, the final big theme that they really want to talk about here is getting really clear on how you want to feel this year. And this starts this month. And this can be something that you can really begin to explore. Gone are the days where we are making resolutions and even goals in a way, because there can be a force and a pressure to that. And it's not that goals are a bad thing, but again, noticing the intention, noticing the energy behind it. And the records really want to hit home that the more that you can get really clear on how you want to feel within yourself, the more you're going to actually pull those pieces of what you desire to you, because simple physics here, like energy attracts like energy. And this is something that you can really be thinking about this month, is for those pieces that you desire in all the different areas of your life, how would that feel? And maybe then it's about feeling into some energetic words that really embody how you want to feel for those different pieces, and allowing those words to really guide you in the things that you are doing each day, in the energy that you are allowing in your life each day, in the ways that you are feeling in those different areas in your life each day. And this energy is really going to guide you, because again, what we've been taught, especially in old school manifestation, is if you think it, it will occur. And there is some truth to our thoughts creating our reality, but this is actually about being able to embody that energy, because that's actually what's going to bring it to you so much quicker and in such a bigger way. And the more that you can consistently embody that energy within yourself, the more you create that energy in your life, and the more you really begin to feel that, all of the things you desire, in your reality. So have some fun with it. Let yourself explore how you want to feel this year, and really begin to step into and embody those feelings now. The final piece, I am going to pull some cards, and this is something I haven't done for a while. Typically, I do some channeled guidance from the Akashic Records without the cards, but I thought it'd be kind of cool to pull some cards, maybe 4 or 5 cards, and just see what words really want to come through to help cement, these themes, not just for January, but for the entire year. So I'm going to sit, really tap in, pull some cards, and then we'll explore what some of those cards want to say. Okay, so I'll show you all the cards and then we'll really dive in. We've got joy, we've got service, we've got renewal, release, wisdom. I'm going to see what order these want to come through. The first card, release. And the first word that's actually coming up here is guilt. Guilt around stepping onto a new path, guilt around stepping into a new journey for yourself, which has actually been the journey for you all along. If you're noticing that guilt is coming up, allowing yourself to deepen into trust of the path, trust of the feelings that have been guiding you, the intuitive nudges of what your soul knows you're meant to be experiencing here in this lifetime, right? And part of the path, part of the journey is that we have to release pieces in our lives that are no longer in alignment with our highest essence, with our highest energy, with our highest selves, with our highest alignment. And there's going to be guilt that shows up there, because there will be emotions that show up that can feel out of our control. And so noticing if the guilt is showing up, and perhaps checking in with yourself to see if grief is below that guilt. Grief can be a very uncontrollable feeling. Sometimes our grief can feel like it's going to swallow us. But grief really is just an experience of not having a place for that love to go. And so work with that if it's showing up, work with if there's grief showing up, see what's below the guilt, and really let yourself ground deeper into trust and faith of your path, trusting your nudges, trusting you know what is right for you. Renewal. For so many of us, we are on a path that is more deeply aligned with what our soul came here to do. But we can feel like we need to rush through it. We can feel like, sometimes it's not happening fast enough. And what the records really want to remind you of here is the garden, is that you are planting a new garden for yourself. This for some of us, it's a new path, it's a new awakening, or multiple levels of new awakening and new paths and new experiences. And sometimes we forget that it takes some time for the garden to grow, that it takes some time for us to be fully experiencing what that new piece is, what that new path is, what that new experience is. And so really having patience in the process and allowing this renewal to slowly unfold, allowing the garden that you are growing to slowly, with patience and trust, unfold. Service. It's really interesting because the word that's coming through right away is purpose. And that when we are in our greatest purpose, that is in our deepest alignment, we will be of service to so many in our lives and may not even realize it, because our purpose is an energy that we embody. But notice, the difference between being in soul-aligned purpose versus doing from the ego, from this place of I should be, or I need to be, or codependency. Really tapping into the energy around that. And are you doing the things in your life because you feel like you should be? Are you in a job where you feel like you need to be, where money is a security? And it's not that we're not supposed to make money, but when we are doing something from a soul-aligned place, abundance flows to us effortlessly. And so really noticing these pieces, and this is going to be something that really unfolds for a lot of us, continues to unfold, is you're going to start to notice a very big difference in the things that you are doing in your life from a place of ego versus the things that you are doing in your life from a place of soul-aligned energy. You'll be able to feel that contraction. This is going to be something that really shows up for people in 2025. Noticing how it feels, that deeper purpose, there will be service involved, but it will be open, it will be in flow, and it will be life-giving. You will feel that inside of you. It won't be depleting. Joy. Very simple here, paying attention to what feels good. And if we go back to what one of the themes were, which was get clear on how you want to feel, allowing yourself to feel good, that there should be a deservingness here, that you get to feel good in your life. And noticing if the ego is showing up saying, I don't deserve this, I'm not worthy of this, we're not allowed to feel this way, we're selfish. Joy is actually one of the most natural expressions, energetic expressions and experiences that we are meant to have in this human experience. So noticing if there are stories that show up, limiting beliefs that you don't get to feel good, and really letting yourself explore that. Finally, wisdom. Wisdom. Green is also the heart chakra. And our wisdom does not come from here. It comes from here, in the heart, deep in the soul. And this is going to be, again, part of the big themes of 2025. Our heart wisdom, our soul wisdom is going to be a really big piece that so many of us continue to come home to this year. because no longer are we subscribing to our truth being something that we think or something that we know cognitively. Our truth, our deeper wisdom, is what we feel. And we feel it here, and we feel it in the body. And so when you are wondering this year, this month, what it is you need to be doing, a decision that you need to make, whether something is right for you, drop from here into here, because your heart and your soul always know, and it is felt. It is not thought. I thank you for being here. I thank you for receiving all of the beautiful wisdom and themes and energy that the records wanted to share on not just January, but for the entire year of 2025. As always, I'm here to support you if you need deeper support. This is something that we can explore in one of my one-to-one sessions, whether it's my Akashic Records soul reading, intuitive guidance session with spirit, or my one-to-one deep dive soul coaching sessions. I also offer, at a more affordable rate, if that's something that you need, my Soul Empowered membership. And this is a beautiful community that I've created to help you feel less alone on your path. We do weekly meetups, and we also have an online community where we share so many things, and you receive one-to-one voice note and text message support. Please let me know if you have any questions. I can't wait to support you. Have a great day.